Konnichiwa. Many years ago, a mentor of mine was Hanchi Ron Yamanaka. Hanchi Yamanaka was an 8th dan in karate, also an 8th dan in kung fu and a 4th dan in jiu-jitsu. I asked him about karate stances. I asked him why karate stances were so wide. His reply was, it's a trade-off between mobility and stability. So we talk about stability versus mobility. This brings in the concept of balance. If you are on balance, you have power, you have coordination, you have mobility. If you don't have balance, you have nothing. You have no power, you have no stability, nor mobility. We look back to Kenjutsu, the ancient samurai. They developed an art with a lot of footwork. Footwork in Japanese is Ashisabaki. And this ties in with body turning or body movement called sabaki. So firstly, we will look at Ashisabaki of the samurai, the Kenjutsu. And then we're going to apply this to some Jujutsu techniques to give you a wider range of options. So now we have the katana, which is the weapon the samurai is best known for. This is kamae, aimed at the throat or the chest, perhaps the eyes. Note, my feet is about 2.5 foot lengths between. As I go to gay down, that distance increases. I change to waki. Then hasso, my feet come slightly together and a little more even with joda. And then back to chuda, geda, waki, hasso, jodan, chuda. Chudan kamae is probably the best known kamae for Kenjutsu. And holding it, the kisaki, the tip, aims at the throat or the eyes, and this extends back to the hara, the center of energy. And the grip is like so. When we look at unarmed martial arts, the kamae is similar. So my hands are in relatively the same position. My foot position has not changed. And my energy is focused forwards. This position is a little like a zenkutsu in karate, except that my feet are closer together laterally. So in this position here, zenkutsu might be a little wider, a sword stance or an aiki stance a little closer together. From this position, we can begin to look at our footwork. The shuffle step goes wider, closer, wider, closer, wider, closer, wider, closer. That's forward and back, zengo. To the side, yoko. Of course, we also have the normal step. When we step normally, we change the hand position when we don't have a sword, so that whichever foot is forward, that hand is on top. And you can hear my feet sliding on the mat. So that its foot is always close to the ground. Now I have a bokken. To turn, the samurai would make a cut, and one way of turning is to pivot. Cut. Step left. So these turns are basic steps. And pivots. Okay. And right through this movement, the samurai retains balance. About 70% of the weight is over the front foot, so turning is easy. Now, in addition to ashisabaki, a basic pivot turn, we put in some sabaki, body turning. From here, I step, I defend against somebody behind, I cut. Then there is somebody to my left, I defend, cut. Somebody behind me, block, cut. And I repeat. So this is 4-direction sabaki, which is a little more complex than the pivot turn done earlier, but allows for more movement, fluid motion, good balance, and retaining power to cut. Now relating this to Jujutsu technique. The kamae is the same. All this means in the dojo, your brain is switched on. You might not use this in the street. In the dojo, it means your brain is switched on. Now, somebody behind me. I step and turn. Also, now my left foot is forward, my left hand is uppermost. Just doing 180. Step, here, weight slightly forward. The weight needs to be slightly forward. If you try and turn with your weight back, very difficult. Weight on the front foot, easy. That's 180. 180. 180. 180. But it doesn't have to be 180. If I want to go 90, I just step halfway. In 180. 90. 180. 90. 180. 90. 180. 90. 180. All the time, I end up in a kamae. 90. 180. 90. 180. 90. Right. In this video you see wakikitami. You may be familiar with it, you may not. As taught by Sato sensei in Japan, wakikitami is a very traditional technique from a knife attack or a straight thrust, and goes something like this. The thrust, I'm off to the side, rotate the arm as I step in, tight to the body, then I assume like a kibidashi and slightly shuffle to take his balance away. Once more. We have the arm lock, a simple shuffle step, as you saw before with the sword. Removes his balance, takes him to the ground. Once more. Arm lock, shuffle step. Now we show a basic technique. I strike John, who is standing behind me, with a back fist. He blocks. Now I use sabaki to apply an arm lock. Okay, so that's foot and body movement. Again, I strike him, he blocks. So I step and bring here the elbow below my abdomen, my center of gravity. Try and stand up, John. I have good stability. If he is very, very strong, easy. I just adjust his balance so he has no strength. Okay. I strike around here to here. If I wish, I can destroy his balance, but this should be enough. Okay? Then we can add to this technique. I'll do this a couple more times. Now I add to the technique. I do the original, and then I find another technique to do. We got to here. I can do sabaki again. Forward, here, and there. And finishing. Okay. Using sabaki. Using sabaki. Once more. Strike him. He blocks. Sabaki. I have control. I want to continue. Sabaki again. I have control again. Once more. I strike. Yeah. And the last time. Maybe from the side. So that is execution of a technique using 180-degree sabaki. Now, just as with the sword, I'll do a technique using 90-degree sabaki. We start with the same movement for simplicity, which is a back fist. Down. Let's try up. Change feet, dip. So I have an effective wrist lock. Once more. Another demonstration of 90-degree sabaki to avoid a straight punch. I get a punch, 90 degrees. Then 180. John will now demonstrate that technique on me, and we can use sabaki also for a counter to that technique. So I use sabaki footwork to get into kote haneri. Then another shuffle step to throw. Once more. Very slowly. He strikes, I block. Before he can apply the arm lock, I apply kote haneri. Then here. Looking at the footwork. I step and then foot back, just like with the sword. Then a normal step to roll. Again. I block. Now, I step and step back. Sabaki. Atami. Then, again. This time, I can also finish with wakikatami. I block. I do sabaki. Kote haneri. Wakikatami. Again. He hits. Sabaki. Atami. Wakikatami. Of course, you can do Jujutsu techniques very well without using sabaki, but you need to be faster than your opponent, or stronger than your opponent, or preferably both. And that's why people practice sparring, they do weights, physical training, etc. to get speed, agility, and get the edge on their opponent through speed. Sabaki is just one of the options that gives you more variety in your technique, more balance and power without applying strength. But without sabaki, you could do something like this. Jiu-Jitsu is a fantastic art. Thank you very much for watching. Keep learning. There's so many dimensions to Jiu-Jitsu, it just never stops. It goes for infinity. So please keep learning, and most of all, enjoy what you learn.